Good evening, viewers, and welcome to another edition of Women's World. I'm Jyoti Nair, filling in for your regular host, Michaeline Moabasi. Empowering women to participate fully in economic life across all sectors and throughout all levels of economic activity is essential to build strong communities, establish more stable and just societies, achieve internationally agreed goals for development, sustainability, and human rights, improve quality of life for women, men, families, and communities, and propel business operations and goals. In tonight's episode, we feature a panel discussion on women's leadership in the private sector in Papua New Guinea, with representatives of 3 generations of women business leaders.
The Papua New Guinea Business Coalition for Women hosted a panel discussion on women leadership in the private and public sector. The forum discussions were led by a panel of distinguished women comprising of Lesieli Taviwi, Lady Ivu Talvasa, Lady Winifred Kamit, Violet Iopi, and Karen Mitchell.
So the Business Coalition for Women is the voice of the private sector, and it was incorporated about 2 years ago. And the coalition is basically a coalition or group of businesses coming together to ask the question, how can we grow our businesses by focusing more on empowering the women in our businesses? When I joined the organization, I worked for about 10 years ago, there was less than, I think there was 0.3% of women in middle management and senior executives at that time. And then I progressed on to the CEO role about 4 years ago. And since then, we've seen an increase in 23% of women now in middle management, senior executive roles. And in terms of the business case, I think I can only talk from my experience and running a business. Is ever since I've been Chief Executive Officer, I've actually grown underlying profit by 170%. 170%. And a lot of that was driven by just a lot more innovation, a lot more thinking about sustainability, and a lot more thinking about, when we talk about product innovation, like now there's this global focus on, our models that are triple bottom line and of course focus on sustainability. And I think with women, and you were touching it earlier on, is that, and especially in my industries, is there's a clear value proposition they're targeting women.
The women conversed on the importance to have women in leadership roles, both in the public and private sector, what's holding women back from leadership roles, and how women can accelerate economic empowerment. The forum was honoring the Pathbreakers, celebrating the achievers, and inspiring the next generation of women business leaders.
I think it helps with the equal contribution of the women in terms of our social, our economic, and our political development. As they say, there's always 2 sides to a story. Men hold powerful positions, men hold more senior positions, so why not our women? They have an equally important contribution to make, and that at the end of the day helps with our own development agenda. I also think that we have cultural barriers which have a bearing on the extent to which our women can have the freedom and the capacity to express themselves and go forward and provide more positive contribution to our development. I think it needs to be a bipartisan approach between government and communities, between government and private sector. Even at all levels of government, it has to be a bipartisan approach, practical one, national level, provincial level, and at community level. To me, that's the only way, I think, that'll help our women go further in their efforts to become a productive member of community and society, and therefore national development.
We get the education right, we get everything else right, we still need to get past the bias, and we need men to stand by next to us to support us.
Just to add on to that, from a younger generation's perspective, yes, it is important to have the males' support, but then we also have females who don't see each other as supporting for growth, but see each other as competition. So that's one of the challenges that we also have to face apart from our male bias.
Really exciting now to see how proactive things are. Going back 40 years, as you said, Winnie, we never had the role models. I mean, we had amazing mums, we had amazing aunts, but we didn't have anyone standing up there in industry or taking a leadership role, but we have now. And I think our great gift from this generation is that we can hopefully shortcut things and make things move faster. Thanks.
The Business Coalition for Women's event reflected on PNG's journey in empowering women. The Pawa Meris of Business, honouring the Pathbreakers, celebrating the achievers, and inspiring the next generation of women in the private sector in PNG. Women's World will be back with more of the panel discussion right after these short messages. Gender inequality remains a major development challenge in Papua New Guinea. A 2011 PNG Country Gender Assessment Report states that men are almost twice as likely as women to hold a wage job in the formal sector. The Business Coalition for Women helps PNG's private sector to recruit, retain, and promote women as employees, leaders, customers, and business partners. Member organizations have exclusive access to relevant and practical tools, model policies, good practices, case studies, and other resources to help them make the most of their female talent while promoting more opportunities for women's economic empowerment and career development. We continue with the panel discussion.
Empowering women to participate fully in economic life across all sectors is essential to build stronger economies, achieve internationally agreed goals for development and sustainability, and improve the quality of life for women, men, families, and communities. Traditional codes of conduct, cultural stigmatization of women executives, or restriction on women's claims to household property and finances all seriously restrict women's ability to participate in the economy.
It will help. It will help for men to understand how the women are just as helpful if they were to work together. And that's a hard slog, as you know. But I think if we could let them see that we can actually work together at the efforts of the women, and there's actually not only a business case, everything that you can think of. It's a good thing to do. It's not just a women's thing, it's everybody's concern. It should be everybody's effort. And the men are part of that community, and they need to be able to understand why this conversation is taking place.
So I wanted to just say that whilst the multinationals have all the policies and all the standards and all the right, I think the challenges, which is something, or the kind of focus area that we focus on in the Business Coalition for Women, is translating a lot of those core values, core principles, core policies into everyday business operations so that it's visible and people can actually see it as being visible. So that's one of the focus areas that we focus on. But the multinationals in particular, being a big part of the supply chain, has a great role to play in starting this change process. Just one point on gender sensitivity. I think this area, I think the public service is ahead in terms of the private sector, ahead of the private sector in terms of gender sensitivity. The GESI policy has pushed a lot of gender sensitivity through the public service, and I know that they have a program where they actually have male champions of change within the public service who are actually going around and actually really championing these programs. So it is happening. We're talking about mainstream. It is happening. Of course, it's a hard slog, as you say, but the fact of the matter is that change is starting. We just got to keep the momentum.
And it's something that I think we need to instill amongst our young, and I totally agree with you, Winnie. There is a tendency in Papua New Guinea households. Time to walk to the kitchen, Guess who goes there first? All the parents say, no, come on, all the girls, they have to go to the kitchen, they have to cook. Where do the boys go? Outside and play. So we ourselves are teaching our kids the imbalances between the male role and the women's role. I just thought I'd share that.
Women-owned small and medium enterprises, already an economic force in Papua New Guinea, can be further encouraged by tax breaks or mentorship programs. Policymakers, corporations, and individuals all have the responsibility to make sure women are empowered with the right opportunities. Gender issues are gaining momentum and are becoming important aspects of the country's changing political and national development priorities.
I think the challenges are right across the sector of the community. I think there's a cultural aspect. I think there are challenges also in terms of the overall leadership, government, in terms of the goals and the aspiration of government, and then aligning that to all the sectors of the community, to the private sector as well as at community level. So I think the political willpower has to be there. I always say that there's no better advocate for women's rights than men themselves. So I think the biggest challenge is probably right at the top level and at government level, and providing that framework to be able to integrate with all communities at all levels to actually identify the issues that are actually affecting and impeding on women growing in different sectors of the community.
I certainly agree with that. My view is that we talk about investing in women and developing them to be leaders. We've got to actually define the word investment. What exactly do we mean by investment? One of the things that's always made me more aware of why in PNG we haven't quite reached admirable levels of women in leadership is I think we need to sensitize more men, and doing them when they go back to the home environment, somewhere, somehow it gives their women or their wives or their nieces or their daughters a sense of confidence. To me, the horizontal, which is education, we also need to balance it out with a horizontal, lateral. So it's opportunities, it's also making the woman feel secure, making her feel confident, and so basically going back to the basics, as it were. That's what I think, yeah.
We will be back with more of Women's World right after this break. Stay tuned. You're watching Women's World. We take you now to the East New Britain province, to a unique company that has women at the heart of its operations. Amruqa, located at Vunakanau, is a family-based company which combines spices and virgin coconut oil to produce essential oils. Its essential oils are so revered, almost all its products are exported overseas. At the heart of its operations is Charmaine Ryan. This energetic young woman oversees the production of Amruqa's famous essential oils. She is certainly stamping her mark in the coconut industry.
Since the volcanic eruptions of September 1994, East New Britain province has slowly risen from the ashes to revive industries that were affected, among them the coconut industry. For the coconut industry, the province witnessed a boom in the production of virgin coconut oil, which is slowly taking over from the production of copra as the choice of product for coconut-based companies. It is for this reason that East New Britain has been described as a leader in the production of virgin coconut oil. Located at Vunakanau is a unique operation that has taken the production of virgin coconut oil one step further. Amruqa is a family-based operation that combines spices with virgin coconut oil to produce essential oils. It has been able to expand its operations in recent years thanks to support from government agencies, including Coconut Industry Corporation, as well as national planning, just to name a few.
Showing to you what it is that we do with the value add of coconuts, and it has been one of our aims in agriculture is to depict how the coconut is in its entirety and how we can integrate that with agriculture generally in the country. So, thank you so much for this opportunity. Thank you for the funding that has come in. And when we walk through, I'm sure you will see where we have expended the money that you have given through KIK. Ian Sexton here is our general manager for Amruqa, and he's in charge of everything across the board. Charmaine is our daughter, and she's our quality assurance officer. She looks after all the quality assurance, ensures that we're doing the right thing with regards to organics, with regards to being integral trade certified. So that's Charmaine's role, to ensure that we're walking down the correct path and doing everything according to the requirements.
At the heart of its operations is Charmaine Ryan. This energetic young woman oversees the production of Amruqa's virgin coconut oil and spices, which are combined to create Amruqa's unique essential oils. I could say more, but let's leave it to Charmaine to explain how these essential oils are wonderfully created.
To start with, right here we have the tea tree. So we'll actually distill the tea tree, get the essential oil, and then we'll blend it in with the virgin coconut oil. So that's the same for the tea tree, citronella, lemongrass, pepper, nutmeg, and patchouli. So these are all different essential oils that we do, which we make different blends with.
Just pick them up and show them.
So this is the patchouli. This particular plant is just a shrub. You harvest it, dry it, and then you distill it to get the essential oil. This particular essential oil is the base of nearly all male cologne. And then we also supply some to Tropic France to do their soaps, to scent their soaps, the essential oil. These ones here, so we have nutmeg here. Nutmeg actually consists of 2 spices. This is how it is on the tree, but you'll open it up and then you'll see this is the mace or the flower. So this one comes off. This itself is a separate spice, the mace, and then you have the nutmeg. So the nutmeg would actually dry the nutmeg, and it's actually the bad nutmeg or the reject nutmeg that you would use to get the essential oil. And then we have the pepper. So this is like salt and pepper, what you have on your dinner table. Green pepper, which will actually give you your black pepper. So once it's ready to harvest, it'll be blanched, dried, and you'll either have black peppercorns or we can distill it to get black pepper oil. The lemongrass, this particular product is distilled fresh. And then this, in comparison to all the other essential oils, has a very short process time and has a very strong smell as well. But this is also infused into the coconut oil. So along with all these, they also have their own health properties, which is what we promote through these infusions. So this particular pack here we've created is a 100 ml pack. It has 3 bottles inside, and it has 3 separate infusions inside it. This has citronella, tea tree and lemongrass infusions inside it, and this is 100 ml bottles. And then inside we have a card that will give you information on the health properties or how best to use the particular oil. Along with the 100 ml pack, we also have a 50 ml pack, and then this one actually has a pure VCO in it, along with the tea tree and lemongrass. This particular infusion we call the circulation tonic. And this actually has a blend of a number of different oils. So you've got your pepper, nutmeg, lemongrass, cardamom. And these are a specific blend of the essential oils that will promote circulation, like in swollen limbs and things like that. So, and that is similar also to the immune booster. So this is a specific ratio as well of essential oils, which will help keep you healthy, boost your immune system. So here we have the citronella. So that's the VCO with the citronella in the front. This is very good for insect repellent, as is the lemongrass. The lemongrass is also an antifungal agent, so it's very good for sort of skin irritations. This particular one here is just the pure VCO. The pure. So if some people are more interested in just the pure oil, but they don't want a big bottle, or. And then we have the tea tree. So the tea tree is a very good antiseptic, so cuts, scratches. There are more and more local women around here using it on their children. Especially recently we've had rubella has been going around the communities, and the parents have been finding it hard to dry up the sores. They've actually been purchasing this particular infusion. Okay, so this here is just a different form of packaging, but this is the pure VCO. More so the wide mouth, because for colder climates they can't get it out of a bottle. So put it in a wide mouth jar, so if it's cold, it solidifies, they can just use a spoon to take it out. And then this one here is just different packaging again. Pure virgin coconut oil.
And that concludes this edition of Women's World. You can share stories from your community with us by the contact details now showing on your screen. You can also search for us on Facebook. We look forward to hearing from you. On behalf of the Women's World team, thank you for watching and enjoy the rest of your viewing on your #1 to watch, EMTV.